Maybe let me make a more general point also about the situation. While the circumstances of the case have been very difficult, we are relieved that now disembarkation has taken place, which also brings more clarity as to the next steps and allows progress to be made on the situation of the persons concerned. And of course, in this context, we remain in very close contact with Malta. For example, Commissioner Johansson had ministerial level contacts over the weekend. And we are indeed now coordinating relocation efforts for the persons concerned. And we have had first member states who have expressed willingness to participate. We have 3 member states, and we very much commend them. Of course, we also encourage other member states to equally show their support. This is a point that Commissioner Johansson also stressed at the video conference with Home Affairs Ministers on Friday. And as we always stress, we consider that more cooperation and solidarity between member states is needed. Generally speaking about relocation, we have been coordinating post-disembarkation arrangements since January 2019, and we are committed to helping member states find ad hoc solutions. However, it is clear that a more sustainable and reliable and permanent approach to search and rescue is urgently needed, something that will also be addressed in the new pact on migration and asylum. And of course, apart from coordinating post-disembarkation arrangements, we're also doing a lot to support Malta and other member states of first entry from an operational, financial perspective and through our agencies. And of course, support is available from these perspectives also to the Maltese authorities.
Thank you. I see lots of hands raised, but I would like to check that they're on this issue for Adalbert. If not, I've noted down your names, so I will come back to you if it's not the case. Lorenzo, une question sur la situation.
Lorenzo, a question on Malta? Yes. Well, just picking up on what we heard from Adalbert. So, good afternoon, everyone. The Asylum and Migration Pact there should have been a proposal on this before the summer from the Commission. I see that it's no longer on the agenda that was approved, I think, last week, on the 27th, I believe. When, my question is, you know, I mean, perhaps there are more pressing negotiation issues. So when will there be a proposal on this, on the Pact for Asylum and Migration? When will we have a proposal from the Commission? And I have another question as well on the agenda of the Commission, if I may. It's very brief. The strategy on hydrogen, when are we going to hear about that? Vice President Timmermans talked to the Corriere della Sera yesterday, but just wondering about that specific strategy that was expected for the first half of this year. Thank you. Adalbert, you have the floor. Indeed, on the Asylum and Migration Pact, it is indeed still very much on the amended work programme of the Commission, adopted, I think, 2 weeks ago. And in this work programme for the second half of this year, it is indeed there. We continue to work intensely on this pact, but it is too early for me to give you a specific date. So stay tuned.
Lorenzo, peut-être pour...
Lorenzo, to be precise, we're talking about 2 specific things here. On the one hand, the Commission's work programme that was amended and adopted at the same time as the proposal on Next Generation EU, and this is what Adalbert was just referring to. And then, separately, the issue to do with the agendas for upcoming meetings of the Commission, points to be discussed and so on. And there we don't yet have a date in place for this specific point. But that doesn't mean that this point is not in the Commission's work programme. There we are. And on the hydrogen strategy, I haven't got any specific information for the time being, but we'll come back to you bilaterally on that topic. If anything comes up, I will pass that on to you soon. Ansgar.
You had a question also on this. We can't hear you. Go ahead. No sound. Sorry.